Hey, welcome to What Do I Got Show. Today I'm going to review the film, or documentary, I believe it was, Grizzleyman, which was put together by Werner Herzog. It's narrated by Werner, and it follows the madness, basically, of a guy named Tim Baxter, who changed his name to Timothy Treadwell, from Baxter to Treadwell. And he's a guy, if you haven't heard, he called him Grizzleyman and built a career on it. And for 13 years, he'd go up to the Alaskan wildlife refuge areas and live amongst fucking grizzly bears, which is madness. He lived with the same dozen or so grizzly bears. He thought he had an intimate connection with them and that grizzly bears were misunderstood, all this stuff. A lot of experts are saying they really just tolerated him. One guy conjectured that they thought he was retarded or insane, so they didn't meddle with him, which is plausible. And but as he did this, the documentary cuts between Tim Treadwell. He'd go up there, he'd set up a camera and get in front of the camera and narrate his times and adventures and explain the behavior of grizzly bears and what was going on. And then it would cut to friends of his, families of his, acquaintances, associates, and then Werner Herzog narrated the whole thing and was on camera a couple times talking to people. And it's fascinating, crazy, off-putting, bizarre, kind of hard to watch at times. Tim Treadwell himself, and this is according to everybody they interviewed, was a troubled dude. And he himself, he would go up there and not only talk about bears, but his personal life and his exploits. And what you gather is this is a guy that, normal kid growing up, he was a talented diver on the swim team, went to college, got into the wrong crowd, got into drugs, alcoholism. His life kind of went south from there. And he was kind of an aloof, not a violent guy or nothing, but a troublemaker. Like I said, he was addicted to drugs at one point. He almost died of an overdose. And then he found the bear thing somehow. I don't know that they really get into exactly how, but he went off to go live with the bears, and he was on a mission to save the bears. And that got him out of drugs and got him out of drinking and kind of was his life's pursuit. But one of the interesting things is they talked to different ecological experts as part of the documentary, and they're basically like, yeah, he didn't need to be there. You know, there really isn't. Brown bears aren't in danger of extinction. There is legal hunting of them, and one guy said you can kill about he said harvest, is his words, harvest 6% of the population and they'll still be fine. You know, they crunched the data on this with their birth rates, death rates. There's not a lot of natural predators for brown bears except for other brown bears, and the population will be about what it is and maintain itself, even if hunters go up there and kill about 6% of the population every year. And then Tim Treadwell made a big deal about poaching, and the same guy was like, we just really don't have a lot of poaching. It happens, but it's rare, and it's not going to harm the population as a whole. And then what was interesting is that the bears would kill each other, as they do. Males fighting over dominance of the pack or over a female. Males will kill a bear cub so that the female will stop lactating so they can have sex with it and have their baby with it. So it's like, as much as Tim Treadwell was like, I hate humans, I hate civilization, so evil, and then he filmed more bears killing other bears than ever had any evidence of humans doing it. And there's like one scene where some people are on a boat on a river, and a brown bear kind of is coming up to him, and they're throwing rocks at it and stuff. I really couldn't make out whether they were laughing at it and doing this to be horrible people, or if they were trying to keep it away. I couldn't really tell from what I saw. But it's just like it was a cause that nobody needed to take up. And he did a lot of, went to schools and talked to people about bears. And, but it was again, not a big deal. And now he died in 2003. It's now 2017. There's no bear crisis. There wasn't one then. There isn't one now. And so what I take from it is a guy who had a life that was going nowhere, thought high of himself, and this covered the difference. My life is going nowhere. This means, I mean nothing to anyone, not doing anything. Oh, I'm so wonderful. And the way he described it, he's like, am I amazing for doing, I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, am I amazing for doing this? Am I wonderful? Is it, I don't know. And it's like, no, you're not. It's kind of crazy. I mean, in that you did this for 13 fucking years, every summer for 13 years, and you live up there for several months, and you're not dead yet. That actually is kind of amazing. But not for the bears. And then another expert was like, yeah, he's actually doing more harm than good, because the bears are getting used to human beings. They're going to think all human beings are Tim Treadwell. And then they're going to approach a human being and either end up hurting a human being or getting hurt by a human being. This is a bad thing. And a lot of people tried to alert him to that, and he just wasn't having it because of his ego, to be quite honest. There was also a group of foxes that he was with, and they captured all this footage, but it's like, dude, you're feeding those things. The only reason they give a shit that you're there is because you're feeding them. And there's one scene where he's running through the grass, and it's chasing him. It's, oh, running, chasing. No, it thinks you have food. So of course it's chasing. It wants lunch. And when it found out it wasn't getting shit, it stopped. And at one point it took his hat and went down a foxhole, and it's just like into a fox's lair, den, whatever. And it's like these foxes. And the one fox he said he knew for 10 years. And he would sit there and pet it, and it's like that thing is half annoyed just waiting for a sandwich. That's not, you don't have some deep connection with that critter, dude. But he wanted to see it that way, because if not, who the fuck is he? What's his life? And one of the interesting things about it, and I don't even know if it's conjecture on my part, the dude was clearly homosexual. Like his voice, his mannerisms, the way he put together thoughts. He's gay. And he actually talked about that at one point. He's like, I don't know why women don't like me. I'm a nice guy, all this stuff. And it's like, they're not approaching you for a date because you're flaming queer. And the women, one of the women in the interview is like, and Werner Herzog says, he says that, she says that swears that their relationship was platonic. And it's like, yeah, she's not going to fuck you, dude. You're flaming. And he had a receding hairline that he was hiding. And it's just like, I could give a shit that he was gay, give a shit that he was going bald, but he was hiding from himself. This was a psychosis that he developed to lie to himself about what his life was. This was a troubled human being. And so it's like, man, you don't have some great deep connection with these things. They're tolerating you because they think you're a Looney Tune, because you're a Looney Tune. And bears, like dogs, man, they're intuitive creatures. They don't have the intelligence of human beings, but they detect emotions. They figure shit out. They're not retarded. Like Tim Treadwell. They're intuitive creatures, so it's like they knew something was off about this dude and kind of put up with him. And several times bears came up to him and challenged him, and he was like, stop that, why are you doing that, don't do that. And then they walk away, he's like, but I still love you. And there's one point a bear pooped, and he went up to, he's like, isn't it so magical? It's a bear poop. And it's just like, the fuck. He got so into his own bullshit that it finally got him ate, and that's how he died. And I'll get into it in a minute, but then there was a point. So Tim Treadwell is like watching this. It's like hard to watch. The nature shot. He captured some brilliant shit on camera. Some absolutely amazing stuff. There's one big bear fight. Everybody points to these 2,000-pound grizzly bears are going at it. Joe Rogan did a thing on his channel, and he's like, that's ninjutsu. That's perfect ninjutsu. So these bears are really fucking fast, if you're not familiar. They're like 34 miles an hour runners. Very fast, very big, and they're fucking experts at fucking ninjutsu. Just don't go up there. You're not coming back. Holy shit. But he got some great footage, and that stuff is interesting to watch. It's kind of interesting. It's interesting when you're talking to the experts. The people who are educated in these fields who actually know a fucking thing or two about bears. And then talking to the guy who flew him up there, he's telling you, walking through going, and I'll get into it later, but he's like, this is where Tim died. This bear was creeping up on us and we shot it. All this stuff, flying out there. That's kind of interesting. But Tim Treadwell himself is just fucking off-putting. He's so weird. He's so out there. And then they go to this coroner that they brought to him. Tim Treadwell and his girlfriend got killed in 8-2, Amy Huguenard. And he's like, yeah, this is the metal bin we put him in, and there was one garbage bag for Tim and one garbage bag for Amy. That's all that was left. But he, took his opportunity to be on camera, and he, too, is just an insane, creepy fuck. I wouldn't let my kids around this guy. This guy was... I wouldn't let me around this guy. That guy creeped me the fuck out. So you got some... These are, the two eccentric dudes, the Tim and the coroner, are just like... kind of creep fucking weirdo. And then some of the hippie ladies that he knew or two are just like, you're all fucking nuts. You're a bunch of wackos. Geez, this is a documentary about crazy hippies doing stupid, crazy hippie shit. And then you talk to the 3 or 4 conservatives standing on the sideline going, you're fucking nuts. So it's kind of, it's interesting for the bears and the nature. It's also interesting from a psychological and sociological standpoint to observe people. Not the bears. The bears are like, oh, it's a bear. Okay. You're doing what bears do. Oh, okay. That's a bear thing. And then the people, you're like, what the fuck? it's kind of, it's worth a watch. It's an hour and a half. It's worth a viewing. But what happened was, he went up there for 13 summers and knew this specific crowd of grizzly bears. And as, young ones would be born and, they grew up knowing this guy. And he was just always there that summer, so they didn't kill him and shit. And then the last year, the lucky 13th year, he decided to stay later because he didn't see this one particular bear lady that he liked. So when the whole crew went up into the mountains to go hibernate, he stuck around later than usual, which is a mistake. Because they're not going to eat you, during those summer months when he's there because they're filling up on salmon and there's plenty of food. As you get into the fall and they're getting ready to hibernate, there's less and less salmon, and they're trying to get in as much calories as they can to go hibernate to last the winter. They get aggressive. And so what happened is one bear, and they actually think he filmed it, called Bear 141, and they actually put Amy Huguenard in the shot, and she's like obviously creeped out. It's like, you dick. Don't fucking put her in harm's way because you're shit. Asshole. So it's hard to like the guy, even if you try to you're trying to raise awareness about the bears. You're gonna get her killed, you dick, and he did. So this one particular bear, they actually show him diving in the water, and he's going deep trying to get dead salmon because there's nothing else to eat. He's desperate, and an expert would have seen that and got the fuck out of Dodge. Instead, Treadwell set up in this one spot, which was on a bear track, where the bears either got to go around you through the lake or come right through you. And that's what happened. This bear came right through him. So they're setting up for a shot. They think Amy turned on the camera because she was filming all that stuff while he was out in front, but didn't take the lens cap off the camera. So they actually got the audio of this bear attacking Tim Treadwell, eating him, and then attacking Amy Huguenard, and then the camera runs out. But Werner Herzog listens to it. They don't put it in the documentary, but they explained it a little. The coroner guy explained it some, and it's just like... And I agree with one of the dudes that was went out there and had to shoot the bear that killed Tim Treadwell. He's like, he got what he deserved. Maybe not from a moralistic standpoint, but if you do this, this will follow. And that's what happened. He put himself in you might as well be standing in front of a fucking train. The hell, you might as well jump out of an airplane at 30,000 feet with no parachute. What the fuck else was going to happen to you? And it's interesting because in the video, he talked about this. He's like, I would die for these bears. I would die for these bears. I died for these bears. And then other times he's like, yeah, I don't want to really die. But if I have to, and it's like, yeah, and you're watching that going, you gotta, that's what happens to you, dumb shit. And then at one point, they're like 10 days from death, 3 days before death, the day of, And then there's one point he's talking. He's like the the site of the massacre was right behind this where he's talking right now, and you're like, wow, dude. So it's a trip. Check it out. Him in the corner, they're hard to watch, man. That creeped me out. If you like train wrecks, here's a train wreck from hell, man. This is your fucking train wreck. I don't like that stuff. That makes me uncomfortable. He made me fucking. If I met him personally, I'd be like, no way, man. No way. You creepy little gay guy. And same thing with that fucking corner. Just weird. But some of the conversations and concepts and stuff, some of the video, it's interesting. It's an interesting watch. Werner Herzog does a good job putting it together, narrating it. That dude should do an ASMR channel. You listen to that dude all day. Like German dude with just a very soothing, calming voice. But yeah, interesting stuff. Grizzleyman, go check it out. It came out, I want to say in 04. But yeah, dude got 8. Interesting shit. Go check it out. Cheers.